Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Debate 'Em All. We did one of these recently. We're doing another one because the tweet I made had so many replies that I was able to get 2 videos out of it. So go you guys. If you don't know what Debate 'Em All is, then playlist in the description. It's basically a series where you guys tell me some of your opinions on Pokemon, and I pick my favorite ones that I want to talk about, and we just talk about them. We're just talking about Pokemon. Simple as that. Okay, there's never been a good Pokemon game set in Kanto. Okay, I know we dislike Kanto. Okay, I know we're sick of Kanto pandering, but let's not go this far. First things first, Fire Red, Leaf Green are my favorite Pokemon games besides Pokemon Go. I'm not a Gen 1 or anything like that. My favorite Pokemon is Shaman Sky, Mawile, and Torracat. I can't even think of a Gen 1 Pokemon that's in my top favorite. Charmeleon, maybe? But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Gen 1 Pokemon, but Fire Red, Leaf Green are my favorite games. And also I want to say Kanto as a region is actually, this is actually a point that Lotad brought up to me. Kanto as a region is probably one of the best regions in terms of, I guess, traversing the region. You're not forced to go in any specific direction. After the 3rd gym, you're pretty much free to kind of like explore any way you want for the rest of the game. Like, it doesn't, shoehorn you into like one specific direction. It's like, Sinnoh's pretty bad for that. Yeah, Gen 1, the region is pretty free. I mean, the region's boring, but when it comes to like traveling through the region, it's pretty solid. Kanto's a pretty solid region. The running shoes lock from Heart Gold Soul Silver, where you can permanently turn on your running shoes without constantly pressing B, is a better feature than Pokemon following you. That is spicy. Pokemon following you is a very good feature. And to be honest, I don't think this should even be a feature. The running shoe lock should just be something that we have. That shouldn't be something that is like looked back on like, oh, that was such a good feature. That's like auto-saving. That is like something that should just be in the game. Pokemon Nuzlocke take little to no skill, mostly just luck. Nowadays on YouTube, Pokemon Nuzlocke are made easier for the creator because like if the vanilla Nuzlocke mode was done, I guess nowadays, it is actually quite a challenge. I guess it can be. I don't know. Nowadays, you see a lot of Nuzlocke variants, and usually they're followed up with a randomizer. Randomizers make the games a lot easier a lot of the time. Like, sometimes there is that, I guess, unlucky battle where the opponent hits a Horn Drill or uses Destiny Bond or whatnot. But for the most part, you end up getting better Pokemon throughout the playthrough because you start off with like a legendary, and the champion ends up having like a Wurmple. Like, randomizers aren't really that hard. But like a vanilla Nuzlocke, I think they are pretty challenging. I mean, yeah, it is very luck based. If you don't get good encounters, then you'll get shafted. But I don't know. I definitely think Nuzlocke can be challenging. But because content creators on YouTube want to make as many videos out of one series as they can, which understandable, because you don't want to buy graphics for this series and have you lose by episode 2. I think that's, I don't know, people, they make the Nuzlocke a little bit easier on themselves. So it's still entertaining, it's still challenging to an extent, but it's not like a vanilla Nuzlocke. I think vanilla Nuzlocke is quite hard. It can be definitely quite hard. Like, for example, vanilla Nuzlocke is when you just lose your entire team, you're out. Like, you don't go to the PC box and carry on from there. Like, there's been plenty of Nuzlockes I've done where it's like, I keep playing until I have no more Pokemon in my PC. That's not vanilla Nuzlocke. Vanilla Nuzlocke is, yeah, if you black out, you lose the Nuzlocke. You have to restart. Sinnoh Remakes shouldn't happen because they'll probably mess it up with Oras. Okay, I want to say really quick, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire has been getting a lot of hate recently, and I don't know where it's from, and I'm really confused. I thought Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were really good games. Why do people hate them so much? What happened? And okay, continuing, and there haven't been that many changes to the battle system since Gen 4 compared to the games that have been remade in the past. Like, pretty much just like fairy types and other type charts. Well, this is a big disagree. First of all, I don't think Oras was messed up. and I don't think that's a good enough reason for them to not do Sinnoh remakes. I don't know, Sinnoh remakes should happen because graphics, we're 3D now. The distortion world in 3D, man, that's gonna be fire. Secondly, the Sinnoh games are actually, I saw somebody else say this in my replies, they are a hot mess. There is like in Pokemon like Diamond and Pearl, there's like 3 fire types, including the Chimchar line. I mean, three. There's not 3 whole fire types. There's like 3 fire type lines. I think it's like Ponyta, Chimchar, and I don't remember the other one. I just know that I don't know why there was a fire type Elite Four member when he literally had like Lopunny and Steelix on his team. Like there was like no fire types at all in that game. So yeah, the if they were to do Sinnoh remakes, one of the big things is that they could actually put fire types in the game besides Chimchar. Secondly, I might have already said secondly, I don't remember anymore. 3D graphics, they could actually make the regional decks good for it, because the regional decks in the original games were terrible. Platinum didn't really fix it that much either. Also, yeah, adding fairy type is a pretty big deal, and there has been quite a bit of changes to Pokemon moves and different things like that. There's been a few stat buffs to Pokemon here and there, and we've also got like double the amount of, I guess, generations to work with. Like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Platinum came out when we were on Gen 4. We are now on Gen 8. We've got 4 more potential, Pokemon regions to add Pokemon from. I think Sinnoh remakes definitely should happen, because the Sinnoh is a hot mess. Yeah. Also the HMs, Rock Climb, Defog, we don't need those. Can you please just make Sinnoh? Like, I love Sinnoh and I love Gen 4, but I would like to see them improved, and I definitely think they can improve them now. I'm more than on board for game-changing mechanics / features in every generation. I want as a unique of an experience as possible, and keeping everything the same as in previous generations, I think is what he meant there, does not help the franchise progress. This is what I was talking about earlier. I absolutely think we do need to keep things fresh. Like, yeah, removing, I guess, triple battles and rotation battles, that sucks, but also it makes it like a staple of Gen 5. It's like, oh yeah, rotation battles were in Gen 5, those were cool, let's play Gen 5, I want to do a rotation battle. That's the way I see it, at least. I think if Pokemon were to bring like forward every feature they had, man, like every Pokemon game, like people already make jokes that we're playing the same game over and over again. It's like, how can you still play Pokemon? It's just the same game over and over again, like Call of Duty. It's like, they have to remove some features to keep the games as unique as possible. Because like, yeah, the base of Pokemon is the same. Collect 8 badges, beat evil team, catch legendary. Like, that's the base of Pokemon. But they need to add and remove things here and there to make each game its own unique experience. And I'm definitely on board with that too. I think this is both a hot take for both of us, because people are not happy about the removal of Pokemon following them. Regional forms are actually bad for OG Pokemon. The OGs aren't getting buffs. They're being left in the dust as regional forms take on the spotlight and completely outclass them. Ninetales and Weezing are the only exceptions to this. OGs need buffs, not replacements. I'm going to disagree, mainly because I love regional forms, and I think it is a genius idea to keep the Pokemon franchise, I guess, okay, because Pokemon is slowly creeping up on 1,000 Pokemon, which is a lot. That's a lot of unique creatures to have, and I think if we didn't get those regional forms, we're gonna have to get new Pokemon. And if we didn't have regional forms and mega evolutions and all this, we'd easily be over 1,000 Pokemon at this point. And those Pokemon designs maybe would not be the strongest, and I think Pokemon would kill their franchise faster if they didn't, I guess, go back and rework old Pokemon, like with regional designs and stuff like that. Reimagine them, whatever. You might think it's lazy, but I think it's the best to keep their franchise alive for as long as possible. They're like 25 years old at this point, or whatever, or they're 23 years old at this point. it's Pokemon's been around for a long time, and if they want to stay around for another 20 years, I think this is the right course of action. And yeah, Pokemon actually have been getting buffs. Like original Pokemon do get buffs. Like Dodrio had one. I know Raichu had one. There's probably a lot more that I'm forgetting. Apparently Lunatone got a buff that I didn't even know about. Like, old Pokemon do get buffs. But I think regional forms are needed. Pokemon Conquest is one of the best spin-offs and is really underrated. I actually just played Pokemon Conquest earlier this year, and that's fact. Pokemon Conquest is such a good game, and it is just sad that we're probably never going to get another one. I don't know if this is like meant to be ironic, but Pokemon YouTubers who blindly defend the Pokemon Company and Game Freak only do so because if their game fails, they'll be in a tough spot. Pokemon isn't going to fail. My opinion on Pokemon isn't going to help, or like... Pokemon has done just fine before Pokemon YouTubers and will do fine without Pokemon YouTubers. We may help a little bit, but I think people overestimate how much we really influence how much sales Pokemon gets. The reason I defend Pokemon and Game Freak is because I'm quite open-minded and I'm like really good at seeing, I guess, both sides of the argument. I don't really defend them blindly either. Like I said, I don't know if this is meant to be ironic or not. This looks really ironic, but there are some people who generally think like, oh, you're only defending Game Freak because if the games don't sell well, you're out of a job. I'm not going to be doing this in 10 years from now. Like, I could easily be going and doing some other, like, I could do some other career path within the next year or two even. Like, I know I'm not going to be a Pokemon YouTuber forever. I'm not defending them to help myself. If anything, I've seen a lot of YouTubers gain a lot of audience from hating on Sword and Shield. I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of YouTubers that have come up off of their Sword and Shield hate videos and criticism videos, and I could have done that, but I would be lying about how I felt. Grant Goldstein with the HMs really aren't that bad. Big facts. Honestly, whenever I was talking about before HMs were removed, I guess, I was talking about how I think HMs should have, I guess, every Pokemon should have its own 5th move slot or whatever for HMs. So like, you know, it's like I guess maybe a field move slot. So, you know, you could teach your bird Pokemon or whatever fly, and you could teach your water dude how to surf, and it doesn't affect its actual form move slot. I think that would have been a cooler way to do HMs than you know, just straight up Poke Rides renting a Tauros. But hey, whatever. Gigantamax Eevee is the worst Pokemon design ever. Like, there have been a few questionable choices and some Pokemon that didn't look quite good, sure, but Gigantamax Eevee is just an incredibly uninspired attempt to ride the second mascot train, and the design is just lazy. I'm not going to disagree. I will say Gigantamax Eevee has very cute bunny ears and I love it. But I'm going to say I want to introduce you to Mega Altaria. That, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst designed Pokemon ever. It just gets more clouds. The Distortion World from Platinum is the most boring and annoying area in all of Pokemon. Backtracking, weird puzzles, and ugly area in general really drags down the climax of the game. I just huge disagree. I loved the music, I loved the aesthetic of it, I loved that you could see Giratina, you know, fly past you. Maybe your first playthrough, if you don't really understand, you know, I guess if you're struggling with a puzzle, it can really bog down the climax of the game. Maybe the puzzle should have been a little bit, I don't know, easier. The puzzle wasn't exactly hard, it was just like trial and error, really. And I guess I can see why that would bog down the climax of the game. But I don't think the area is boring or ugly at all. I think I love the Distortion World, and I would really love to see it in 3D. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Debate 'Em All. Remember to go ahead and drop a like on it for me if you liked it. If you want to check out the other episodes of Debate 'Em All, links to the playlist in the description. You want to support me in any way, ways you can do so is in the description also. And just again, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.